according to the law, especially right here in Nigeria, that for a land transaction, for a title, or for an interest that is being held in a land to be transferred, it must be transferred through a document known as a deed. This could be a deed of assignment, a deed of lease, a deed of sublease, a deed of gift in the case where you are being gifted the land. It could be a deed of transfer, and it could be a deed of anything, but it must be a deed. So today I'm just going to be basically talking about a deed of assignment. However, these features that are contained in the deed of assignment are also what you're going to see in other deeds, like a deed of lease, sublease, gift, and the rest of it. A deed of assignment is an important document in land transaction. In fact, generally in real estate transaction. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you everything you need to know about deed of assignment, what it should contain, and the tips, generally on what to do when you are buying land and getting a deed of assignment. So you may need to sit right back and watch this video to the end. Hello, my name is Jacinta Ukwa and I'm your real estate investment expert based in the city of Enugu. If you're coming across my YouTube channel for the first time, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you get to see more videos like this, because I share tips on how you can buy properties safely right here in Nigeria, especially in the city of Enugu. Now, back to deed of assignment. What is a deed of assignment? Now, a deed of assignment is a legal document that is being used in land or real estate transaction to transfer ownership of a land or a house from one person to another, which is usually from the buyer to a seller of that property. In this deed of assignment, usually the seller of the land is referred to as the assignor, while the buyer of the land, who is receiving the land, is referred to as the assignee. Now, here are things or elements or features that a deed of assignment must contain or usually contain. Number one is the name of the parties. That is the name of the person selling the property and the name of the person buying the property. It also contains the addresses. So it contains both the name and the address of the seller, and as well the name and the address of the buyer. Number two, it shows or describes the plot of land that is being sold or that is being bought. So it contains the beacon numbers. Most times it also specify the size of the land or the area of the land that is being sold. So that is the second element or feature of a deed of assignment. Number three, it must contain a recital. A recital is also what is known as use title of the land. This is basically talking about the origin of the land or the history of the land, of how this land came about. The recital is just like the name, it recites how the land moved from its original state to the person that is selling to the buyer. So the recital usually shows the history of the land, of how the land from when it was being owned by the ancestral owners till the party A bought it and sold to party B, and party B is now selling to party C. So it usually shows the movement of ownership of the land. So this part is very important in a deed of assignment. So a deed of assignment usually contains the recital of the property or of the land that is being sold, and that is why it is very important. It is a very important document right here in Nigeria. Number four is that it contains the covenant that binds these parties. It contains the do's and don'ts of the both parties. It shows what the seller of that land is going to do for the buyer, and however what the buyer is going to do for the seller. So it's usually like a covenant. So it contains covenant of both parties. And then it also contains what is called as indemnity clause. Indemnity clause is the clause that protects the buyer from any issues that may be arising from the seller end. It is very, very important, and it is usually contained in a deed of assignment. So it contains the indemnity clause, indemnifying the client or protecting the client, or stating that the seller is going to compensate the buyer if any issue is set to arise from the land or from the land transaction. And then finally is that it contains, or it must contain, the signatories of the both parties and the witnesses. So both the buyer and the seller must sign this document. If not, it is as good as there is no document. The deed usually contains the signatories of both the buyer and the signatories of both the seller. As well, it also contains the witnesses of these parties that are going into this land transaction. So these are the features of a deed of assignment, and they are very, very important. And that is why a deed of assignment is one of the powerful documents you get right here in Nigeria, especially in Enugu if you are buying land. So that is basically what a deed of assignment is all about. And here are tips you need to follow when you are getting a deed of assignment. You must ensure that all these things I've mentioned is contained in the deed of assignment. Secondly, is that you must ensure that both parties, the people that are involved in the land transaction, signs the document. And then finally, you must ensure that the parties have their witnesses signed on the document. And afterwards, ensure you get a copy of your own deed of assignment for yourself. So after you have done a land transaction and a deed is prepared, you should ensure you get it. Also, another tip is that you ensure you go register your deed of assignment at the land registry, because in the law court, most time if anything should arise, the court listens more to the person who registered his document and not to the person who does not register his document. And generally, deed of assignment is usually prepared by the seller's lawyer, because he is the one transferring his right of ownership to the buyer. And that is why you see some real estate companies preparing these documents for their client, because they're the one transferring ownership rights to you or to the person that is buying. So deed of assignment are usually prepared by a lawyer or drafted by a lawyer, and it must be signed and sealed by a lawyer for it to be a valid document. So hope this is clear. Hope you now understand what a deed of assignment is all about and why it is important. So if you have more questions concerning deed of assignment or other land documents right here in Nigeria, or that is being used right here in the city of Enugu, you can comment them on the comment section and I'll gladly answer, or you reach out to me on the number showing on your screen on 081 4704 2804. So I remain Jacinta Ukwa, your number one real estate investment expert. So until I come to your face again, keep investing in real estate, keep watching my YouTube videos, and I will definitely see you in the next one.